In this series, we took the highest grossing film every year since 1980, we put them in brackets, and debated which film was the best to determine once and for all which decade had the best movies. So the next one, um, we're getting into a very weird
Ooh,
bracket.
I'm already angry looking at this.
Yeah. So obviously, we got Back to the Future. Now we're in 1985. The first Toy Story, and then two Star Wars films: Revenge of the Sith and Force Awakens. I have a feeling I know your top two, Soto, but I'm going to let you go first. What's your number one?
Back to the Future, obviously. I just talked about it. I talked about how much I love it. I still watch this movie now. I still talk about this movie now. The first Back to the Future is fucking fantastic. You know, if we ever talk about the second and third one, we'll have a different conversation there. I have my problems with it, but the first one is just a beautiful thing. And I find nothing wrong with the first Back to the Future. I used to watch it every day in college. I shit you not. I watched it every day while having coffee. I'd watch it until I had my coffee, then I'd go to class. And then the next day, when I had my coffee, I would pick it up where it left off, and I would watch it from there until this was every day. I love Back to the Future. It can do no wrong. It's just great. And
Agreed.
then
Agreed.
obviously Toy Story is my second one. Spoiler alert, everyone. Toy Story is my second one too.
Yeah, no, I agree. My one, two are exactly like yours. Like Back to the Future to me is a perfect 80s film. It has everything it needs to, the comedy. It's just fun. It's just a fun movie, and it had great characters. You can't
So
help
many
but love
great
Martin
moments.
McFly and Doc. Um, yeah, I mean, I know we can probably pick apart some things about it, but at this end, it is a great film. It is an enjoyable film, and yeah, Toy Story, also a great animated film. So yeah, easily my number two. Compared from
Hmm.
this list, like almost any other list, it could possibly be up there with number one because what they did with CGI animation for that time was huge. And I remember seeing this in theaters. But yeah, there's no way. Back to the Future, easily number one. So
Easily number one. I mean, yeah.
here's the question now.
Oh, I know.
For which of these Star Wars films are you putting at number three, and which one's last?
um, Neither of these movies are good. Okay, I want to preface this situation with that. Okay, but I refuse to ever put a prequel movie in anything other than like Force fucking place. I don't care what fucking list this is. Okay, and so Force Awakens goes to third by default. Okay, even though Force Awakens did have some cool shit in it, but overall it was whatever. It was a rehash of A New Hope, pretty much. And whatever, it was fine. It was nice to get a new Star Wars movie that didn't suck, because the one that really, really sucked was also Revenge of the Sith. And the things you talked about, Return of the Jedi, all those bad things happened here in this film. Which people think that this one is the best of the three of the other ones. I don't know. They may be right, but still dog shit. So Force Awakens number three, Revenge of the Sith number four, and if there was a five, I'd put Revenge of the Sith there.
Uh, well, I'm going to disagree with you. Um,
What?
I have to.
Ha! All right, state your case,
I'm not saying this is a
please.
great case.
I
So
would love to hear your points here.
you're right. The prequels, for the most part, for overall, are horrible. Attack of the Clones' only
Yes.
good fun scene was, seeing Yoda with a lightsaber doing his shit.
Oh my god.
Now, The Force Awakens, well, it rehashed, like you said, a lot of that. It brought back, obviously characters from the original, which is like, okay, but I don't know. Everything just felt forced. It did not feel natural. I'm like, how can you use Han in this way? I was just like, I was a little bit
Oh,
upset with
there
that.
are problems.
Oh no,
There
no,
are
I know
definitely
there's
problems.
Revenge of the Sith. I'm like, if anything, it's the Obi-Wan, Darth Vader. It's the end. It's the final transformation. Do not get me wrong. This is not an easy choice, but to me, the fact that Revenge of the Sith was the first PG-13 Star Wars films, so it did things that other Star Wars films did not try to do. And then Force Awakens, I barely remember it. I mean, I barely remember. I'll be honest, I remember more from Sith than Force Awakens, and
You
I
don't
do not
remember
want Sith.
Kylo Ren?
Yes, yes, I remember Kylo Ren. You know, I remember the characters more than the story. But I can remember certain parts of Revenge of the Sith. I'm
Yeah.
not saying there. To me, it was a little bit more enjoyable, and I hate to use the word enjoyable with any of these two fucking films.
I use that
But
loosely.
and like I said, they had the one scene which ruined, basically Return of the Jedi. But at the end, you finally got to see the transformation,
Mm.
which is what when the prequel started, it's all we wanted. We're like, oh my god, we're gonna see Anakin turn. Now they
So
they
bad,
fucked
dude.
it up. They to me the prequel should
So
have been like
bad.
4 films, like when Phantom Menace, or at least the beginning. I would have loved to see more of the training, and they could have, used the third more to, I don't know, they rushed it, but at the end of the day, it's probably because I don't know. This to me was better. I can't let nostalgia saying Han, Leia, and I'm just looking at their faces. I'm like, oh, I remember the original trilogy, guys. I miss you
Mm-hmm.
guys, and I can't forgive that the fact the Force Awakens is like, let's just throw them in here to bring Star Wars back, instead of, I don't know, and how this whole new trilogy went to me
Oh.
was
Oh, it
more
did
of a
not go well.
letdown than how it ended in Star Wars, because we knew how Revenge of the Sith was going to end. So because no matter what, we knew that ending. So we knew he's going to turn Anakin, blah blah blah.
I mean,
So,
sure.
I
Yeah.
mean, but no, we knew the end point. We didn't know where like the new trilogy was going to end. It still
Mm.
ended like shit. So
Oh,
I'm
it was
sorry.
terrible.
You know, as much as I, nostalgia tried to kick in the door, I'm sorry. And I'm not saying this is easy. I am not saying this, but again, for the first 3 prequels, is it the best? Maybe Attack of the Clones. I only give an edge to because that the Clone Wars scene, that small scene, though it's weirdly in a gladiator stadium, it was cool just to
Oh
see
my
the
God. I'm
epicness of
getting
it.
mad just thinking about this.
So I know it's tough because I know you hate we both hate the prequels, but I any other prequel would Force Awakens would be third, but the fact that Sith had the ending, the Obi-Wan, the Anakin turn, it was just a little bit more meat to it. And like I said, I hate to use the word. I probably enjoyed it more than Force Awakens because everything about Force Awakens was like, oh, nostalgia. Oh, yeah, there's Han. And you got Luke at the end. And I'm just like, they're just, I don't know. They're feeding me breadcrumbs. And I did not like many of the new characters outside of BB-8. I'm like, oh, look, it's a dollar store R2D2. But I still laughed at it. And that's probably the only part I
Yeah.
remember laughing at Force Awakens. So yes, I have to put Sith in front of Force Awakens. I'm not
Mm.
saying this is an easy choice. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
saying I like this choice. Um, it's basically between like two pieces of shit, and it's like, which one do I want to pick up first? I guess I'll pick up the one that's older because it's easier to deal with. We'll deal with the fresher shit in a second. So that's where I'm at. I
Fair.
can I can respect obviously you putting Force Awakens. I know this was not easy. So
Mm.
if this is like I said, any other of the other 2 prequels, Force Awakens probably would beat it. But to me, Sith was the best of the prequels, and I hate to use the word best in any of the prequels, but anyhow, let's go to our poll
Um,
because this might get a
yeah.
little interesting. Which,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Oh, for sure.
yeah, but the fact that Toy Story is tied with Revenge of the Sith hurts my soul.
For-
Hurts my
Force
soul.
Awakens is 0%. Man, you people so mad. It's like these young kids have so much nostalgia for the prequels, man. Like I don't get it. Like when I first watched these movies, man, I had a certain opinion that I will definitely get to because it's just coming. But and I've talked to a lot of like younger Star Wars fans, and they absolutely hate the new movies. Like the new like trilogy of Star Wars,
Mm,
like the younger people absolutely fucking hate those movies.
yep.
Absolutely 100%. I mean, look, I get it. They're problematic. They're not great, but man, like that feeling that they have for those, I have for the prequels.
Yeah.